What's going on, party people? Another episode of The Decent Show on the Decent Channel, specifically doing the podcast about nothing. Hope you guys have been following along with all the content we've been creating. It's Reagan and Ryan. We're doing part 2 of the Seinfeld Season 2 review and kind of just giving our overall review of the season. And Reagan, where do you want to kick things off today?
I don't know, just we'll talk about the second half of the season. What do you think about the second half of the season?
It got better.
Yeah.
But honestly, actually, I say it got better. I feel like after looking through the episodes, all of them are pretty solid.
Yeah.
And not necessarily. I had
no
a hard time.
standouts, no bummers.
Yeah, it was much better than the first season. Had a hard time picking out a favorite episode because to me, all of them had elements that I liked and didn't like.
Mm-hmm.
And then we went ahead and leaked into the third season, first episode, and you kind of made the comment about how you liked it a lot better. It was a great episode, and it does seem like from there on out, it does get even funnier.
Yeah.
To where, like, that episode's already probably above most of these episodes.
Honestly, yeah, it's gonna be a little boring at first because I feel like 2 is gonna be better than 1, and then 3 is gonna be better than 2, and then I feel like there's probably some room for discussion. But it just seems like
they're still building.
They're still building even in season 2 because there were only like 20 episodes in, or less. 17 episodes into the show.
Yeah.
So like that's not even most shows don't. That's not even a whole first season, you know. And the first season of most shows really isn't even that good.
Correct.
They usually don't find their footing.
Yeah, or their first season's great and they go downhill from there.
Yeah.
So, kind of weird how shows do that nowadays. But yeah, like I said, every episode's pretty good, and there's a lot of classic moments in there. Obviously, kind of jumping ahead, one of the last episodes of the season is the Chinese restaurant, and I feel like that episode's kind of always in like Seinfeld lore with like the contest, the soup Nazi. Like it's something that your very, very casual Seinfeld fan is like probably aware of.
Yeah. Apparently they were supposed to shoot it earlier, but NBC like didn't like it. The idea of it just being all in real time, just shooting in one location.
It's tough to pull off.
It is, but they get it done.
They nail it.
Yeah, it is. It's a good episode. Michael Richards Kramer favorite episode of the entire show, and he's not even in it, which I find. Like I almost find, I guess like.
Do you think he's being petty in any way about that? Because it is a great episode. It's smart, but it's like. It's not really to me, it's not close to their best episode.
No, it isn't. But maybe he just like appreciates like how it's all in one area, and he hates that he wasn't a part of it. Or maybe it's just I guess I wasn't a part of it, so I feel like it must have been awesome. Like he doesn't know what it was.
I don't even know where he would fit in, honestly.
Yeah, it'd be tough, but I feel like they could find something for him. I feel like he could hit on a girl or something, or do something weird in the background.
Yeah, because they have a lot going on in such a small space, and then of course. They get separation for George because he has to be on the phone to talk to his girlfriend, and I feel like a Kramer, I just don't know where he would fit into that.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. You want to go through the episodes?
Yeah, we'll recap them for the fans who
just talk about them.
Yeah, who don't know what's happening there. We'll go episode by episode, maybe do kind of a rapid fire of each one. So we started this one at number 7.
The Revenge.
Okay. Let's see. So the Revenge to me is great just because George in the workplace I've always enjoyed throughout the entire show.
Yeah, because it's relatable as hell.
It's super relatable. Everything he does. And he did... This episode's actually loosely based on something Larry David did in real life where he blows up at work and like calls everybody imbeciles or whatever he is. He just has a work blow up.
And just tries to come in.
And storms out and then, comes in the next day or comes in on Monday like nothing happened. Like he didn't just cuss everybody out and quit or whatever. And I believe he did that for SNL or he did it for Seinfeld itself. I think he did it for SNL.
Yeah. Do you think that would work? Like, would you ever try to do that?
I could see me trying to do that,
getting
but
mad
honestly,
at someone pretending they didn't hear it.
If I got that mad at work,
I'm
probably not coming back because I don't want to come back. If I was like George and did need to come back because
the
work,
money,
because of like the work environment, and I live on my own, then yeah, probably I could. Would you do it?
Yeah, I'd probably do it. I don't know. I would do it just because of the show. So I could probably just tell you and. I don't know, maybe another person or two and just be like, yeah, I tried that thing from Seinfeld where, they get really mad and then pretend like they didn't quit. But yeah, it's a good episode. Kramer destroys the laundromat. That's hilarious to watch. Dude, that is like totally a contradiction then.
What?
Because Kramer goes to the laundromat and that was the whole reason that he wasn't in the Chinese restaurant is because they never wanted Kramer, or they didn't. Kramer hadn't left the apartment in years, quote unquote.
Right.
But he left the apartment to go to the laundromat. So that doesn't make any sense.
But you said they wanted to do the Chinese restaurant earlier in the season?
Yeah, so maybe that was it. Was
maybe that was
way.
it.
Yeah. Interesting. But yeah,
like maybe they shot it and then they held on to it and then they threw it in finally.
maybe that must have been it. I had a note here of like my favorite line from this is he wants to get back at his boss because his boss is an ass to him. So he wants to slip him a Mickey or whatever into his drink, and I put like. Someone says to him, the best revenge is just living well, and George is like, yeah, no chance of that. that was one of my favorite lines.
That's a fantastic line. So yeah, shout out for favorite line for me. Newman is introduced in this episode, but we don't actually see him, and his voice is played by Larry David. So Kramer's talking about Newman and how Newman's all depressed and wants to kill himself and jump off the roof, and Kramer's just not buying it, and he's like, fine, just jump, just do it. And he's like, stop teasing me about it already. And then finally he's like, well, Kramer, I'm on the roof. He goes, well, what are you waiting for?
Jump.
And then he's like, you want to shoot pool later? And then he's like, no, I can't, I'm going to a movie. So it's like the fact that Newman's doing this and Kramer's like doesn't care and wants him to go shoot pool, and then Newman says he can't do it because he's going to a movie. I don't know. I love that whole situation. I think it's hilarious.
Also love when he's like, he sits down with Jerry and he's talking about what jobs he can do. He's like, well, I like sports. I can do something with sports. And Jerry's just like, well, they usually give those jobs to,
former ball players or people in broadcasting.
He's like, well, that's really not fair.
I like sports. Like, well, in what capacity? Oh, like the general manager of a baseball team. It's like, okay. Maybe I could be a color man. You're always saying I'm making those interesting comments during the game. Yeah, you make good comments. But yeah, George has all these unrealistic expectations, and then Jerry's just like bringing him back down to earth as like nicely as he can, honestly. And then he wants to be a Civil War buff, right?
Yeah.
What does it take to be a buff?
Ridiculous.
And then he ends up working for a baseball team, but that doesn't happen till like
late,
way late,
5 or 6, I want to say.
Because he goes real estate to Elaine's Publishing to
very briefly,
to whatever after that. We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, I honestly don't have the timeline. After that, we got the heart attack. Love this episode as well, actually.
Oh, I love the heart attack.
Mainly love Kramer's friend, Harry the Healer.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
I got to thinking about it. I feel like he was kind of, I think Friends kind of ripped him off with Guru Saj.
Guru Saj.
Yeah, he gets rid of Ross's Kundus on his backside.
Oh, yeah.
He does that. He's the holistic healer. I don't know. I kind of feel like it's a very... that's what it reminded me of whenever we saw this episode, but obviously this came first, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I love that part.
I forget who that actor is, but...
He does look familiar, but yeah, and then the paramedic guys...
He's in Garfield 1.
Is that what it is?
He's in other stuff, but that's what I know him from. He plays the bad guy in Garfield 1.
Unfortunately, that's what I know him from as well. Movie sucks.
Decent.
Yeah, it was decent. The paramedic guys fighting over the Jubilees or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
I don't need that gooey crap.
Also,
shoot.
This is random, but I just figured I'd mention it, is, one, Larry David makes a physical appearance as the crazy guy in the movie that Jerry's watching.
Right.
And while George is in the hospital with his heart attack, quote unquote, Jerry's like playing it up like he's going to die just to mess with him.
Love that bit.
And I love all of that. And so, but then he's asking about his Blackhawks jacket. So the only Blackhawks I know of are the Chicago hockey team.
There's a band. I think there's a band called the Blackhawks.
They must be. Okay. I was like, why is George a Blackhawks fan? But never mind. Anyway, I love the part where, Jerry and Elaine are, like, playing up his death. And like, Elaine gets it immediately. Jerry's like, he's fine. And she goes, oh, okay. So who's getting your apartment?
Who's getting your apartment? Is anyone getting your apartment yet? Yeah, I love that bit. Also just love how he's still whining about the check as he thinks he's having a heart attack.
Yeah. You messed up.
Dude, it doesn't get any better than that.
Also, this is a shout out for my favorite line as well, where the doctor and Elaine are like bonding about having and not having their tonsils. And Jerry's just like, it's like the Capulets and the Montagues. And he's just like mocking them to their face, and they don't care.
And he hits on people in very stupid ways too, but I just love how when he's around it, he has to make fun of it.
Oh, yeah.
It's good stuff. The Deal, episode 9. Jerry and, I guess, Elaine, did they originate the Friends with Benefits concept? Do you think this is where it originated?
Maybe, but the last thing I was going to say on the heart attack real quick is I think you had mentioned it, that it was the first mention of Bob Sacamano.
Yeah.
And that's also one of shout out for my favorite line when they're like, Kramer's like telling him, don't go to a hospital. They're going to cut you up. You don't want them to cut you. My friend Bob Sacamano went in for a hernia operation. Now he's sitting by a window going, my name is Bob. Routine surgery.
Never see him, but we hear about him a lot.
Never see him. And honestly, it's probably for the best. I feel like if you met Bob Sacamano, it would be a letdown.
It's too legendary of a character.
And then they would feel obligated to have him all the time. And
no bueno.
But yes, The Deal.
The Deal, Friends with Benefits, Jerry and Elaine, basically.
Unless there's something I don't know about before this episode, I feel like everyone that's ever used the Friends with Benefits concept had to have referenced this episode. Like it
must have, yeah.
Or like they had to have had some inspiration from it. If not, other writers did. Because to me, it's really well done.
Yeah, apparently it was nominated for Writing Emmy for this episode.
Yep.
Which was wild that this show was nominated for an Emmy in its second season, and they were thinking about canceling it.
Right. Well, it's all about views.
Yeah, it is. I don't understand why anyone would do that. Great line in it. I know less about women than anyone in the world, from George Costanza. When Jerry's describing the deal to him, and he's saying that he doesn't want to spend the night over or whatever. I love that part as well. NBC wanted the couple to be like Ross and Rachel, basically, on again, off again, on again, off again. And I guess they thought this season they thought the show was going to get canceled. So this was originally supposed to be the last episode in the season. But they filmed it out of order, and then it makes no sense, as in they're getting back together.
Right.
Because they get back together and at the end of this episode, and then the next episode they're not together.
Right.
So it makes no sense.
So they just kind of left it at that.
Yeah, exactly. Which I think is hilarious that NBC kind of screwed themselves out of making that a plot line.
Glad they didn't, though.
Oh, yeah, great, yeah. I think the show still would have been good, but it wouldn't have been nearly as good.
Right. And, I mean, they still have their moments here and there, but it's very few and far between. But, I did think the premise of just the way they approach it, and they try to cover all the ground rules, and they try to make it work to where they can literally have sex without the commitment, and the rules are good. It's really well done, but then comes having to buy her a birthday gift.
Yeah, and it destroys it.
It destroys all of it. And he would have to buy her that birthday gift whether they're having sex or not, because they're friends. You would assume he's going to get her something, but now
he gets her a card and calls her a pal.
Yeah, and there's all this pressure. Pal, I'm your pal.
Not great.
And then Kramer swoops in with the great gift.
The bench.
Which is so stupid.
Yeah,
but I don't get it.
I don't either.
And then, I love George yelling at Jerry. He's like, you tell me you have sex with Elaine, then you're not in the mood for details. But you get in the mood.
He's like, I have no job. I have nothing to do.
So
it's great. It's a great episode.
And that would also be me. I would do that.
Well, you try to make that rules?
No. Well, yeah, not that. I mean, like, I would yell it. Like, if you were to be like, hey, like, I got
something juicy, but I can't talk about it.
Like,
well, no. You shut up.
Don't bring this up and not give me the details.
Another interesting thing I wanted to note is, like, we don't see the roommate again for a while. I know we see her again when Kramer dates her. I just think it's weird that Elaine has the same roommate for, like, 4 years.
And we barely see her.
Yeah.
And she's in this episode?
Yeah, because she comes in and is like, it's a great improv class.
Yeah. Okay, see, that's where I fell asleep.
She's super weird. And then she dates Kramer later, and then also goes and tells Elaine when she gets evicted.
Yep.
That's all I remember of her being in the show. But still, that's like way later.
It is, yeah.
So, I don't know. I thought that was interesting. Next episode, baby shower. This probably has my least favorite side character in it.
Which is?
Leslie. The pregnant woman.
Pregnant lady, yeah.
I just hate how rude she is.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean, it sets up some great George stuff, but because George is still like after her to go get revenge for the whole first date where she spilled. I don't understand that. She was an actress.
Yep.
And spilled Bosco all over George.
Yes.
And then broke up with him right then and there, which could only happen to George Costanza, which I find funny. But
she left him that night. She went home with somebody else.
Oh, she went home with somebody else?
That's
I
what he
didn't pick
said.
that up. Oh, my
yeah.
bad.
She left with somebody else, didn't return his calls, nothing. Did not care for her at all. And this episode's kind of underwhelming, but it's also got some hilarious parts. Obviously, George trying to talk to her with chocolate sauce on his shirt, and then she ends up spilling cake on it. Like, I love all of that. And then somehow it's his fault, and then he still helps load her car at the end of the episode.
Another great line I love is, I'll never be able to forgive myself. And he's like, and if you do, he's like, I still won't be able to forgive myself, but it won't be over this. And then he takes $1 off the tip.
I love it. He like looks at the tip. He goes, it looks like he puts down 4 ones, and then he takes a 1.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. So I have a few notes. This is the first time we hear the stand-up about men hunt and women nest in regards to TV surfing.
Right.
Which later gets referenced in an episode where Kramer's dating a lady named Toby, and I swear that's like between seasons 4 and 6.
Yeah, it's late.
Somewhere in there. And then, I love how angry he is about the girl that put chocolate sauce. Like that scene at the restaurant when he's describing what happened. I love how angry he is about that. Like he doesn't.
He's held on it for so long.
Yeah, he doesn't let go of the grudge. And then that's the other thing too is he does this in this episode and the Chinese restaurant episode where he gets furious about somebody, and then when he is confronted by that person,
I'm sorry,
he backs down.
That's fine.
Yeah, he's like, oh no, it's no problem. You know, he just totally backs down.
And I love when the girl gets mad at Jerry. I love how calm he keeps whenever she's yelling at him. But I also love how she says, "You said you were going to call me again." And he's like, "Who takes that literally?"
That's the other thing about that scene. George and Jerry are having the opposite thing happen to them with the females.
Yeah.
George is trying to do what that girl did to Jerry, and it's not happening at all. And then that girl just totally tells Jerry off.
Right.
And I feel like that's something that kind of happens a lot throughout Seinfeld, is that, especially George is normally the one like having the problem, and then somebody else is like having the opposite of that same problem, or they're having like the inverse, or their luck is up while his is down, and like they've covered that a few times. Obviously the obvious one is where him and Elaine like literally switch, like where Elaine is he's bragging about even Steven, and George is up and Elaine's down, and then Elaine's up, George is down. But I feel like that kind of happens throughout the show without them mentioning it. Like there'll be a storyline and somebody else's storyline is somehow like the inverse of that. And I'm gonna be looking out for other future examples because I feel like this isn't the only time it happens.
Right. No, yeah, I agree with that. I guess the only other thing is they mentioned Jerry's sister. It's never mentioned again that he has a sister.
In this episode?
Yeah. He says, like, my sister so-and-so says something, but it's super offhand and has nothing to do with the show. But it's like, it's never mentioned again.
Yeah, I missed that.
Exactly. That's how minor it is.
It's also our first reference of John Kennedy Jr.
Of course.
Which is Elaine's obsession somewhat throughout the show. Also, shout out for another favorite line in the episode when they're talking about setting up the illegal cable, and he goes, "I'm not doing it. It's illegal." It's not illegal. It's against the law. Well, yeah. Like, just okay. And then Jerry getting shot up in his dream is hilarious.
Oh, that was great. He gets unloaded on.
My little cable boy.
Next episode we got is the Chinese restaurant. It's supposed to be the best episode literally ever. It's all filmed in one area, one location. I don't know. Not much to say about it. I mean, it's
super relatable.
Yeah, super relatable, except for maybe the phone part, I guess, is outdated. But, even then, it's still perceivable.
Yeah. If there's something that's shared between people in public, you're always like, I guess, fighting over it. Like, people are fighting over to use the public phone in this situation. I feel like maybe other places it's like the bathroom or something else. But
and then they never call your name.
Yeah, but everyone's had that long wait at a restaurant where you're just thinking of all these different scenarios. You're obsessed with getting the food. You're basically arguing and saying wild things while you wait to get to it, and then like, well, maybe we should just give up and go somewhere else. It's like, well, by the time we get there, they will have called our name. Well, who cares? Like,
yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, it's like we can carry out eating the cab. Who's Chinese food in the cab?
We got plans to make later and all this other stuff. And also want to give a shout out. I love when Jerry says like, I'm going to go see Plan 9 from Outer Space. It's supposed to be the worst movie ever made. Who am I going to make sarcastic comments to in the theater if y'all don't go? So accurate.
It is accurate. Love seeing a bad movie with y'all. And then I relate pretty hardcore to like Jerry seeing that lady that he recognizes but he can't remember, and that whole conversation. Like, I've probably done that 100 times.
Just pretend you know who they are. Well, how you doing? Oh, you know me, just doing my thing.
Or even if I do know them, I have the exact same conversation where it's just like, oh yeah, same old, yeah. How are you? Good. How are you? What's been happening? Nothing. What's been? No, yeah, working. Just. And then it's like, well, good seeing you. It's like super awkward at the end. It's like, okay, can one of us leave, please?
Yeah, this is not worth it. But yeah.
And then shout out to George for another classic line, we're supposed to be living in a society.
And then the last episode of the season is the busboy. I didn't really care for this episode that much.
Yeah, it's got its ups and downs.
But apparently it's the first episode where Elaine is seen without Jerry. For whatever reason, that's memorable. It's the first episode where two plots interconnect, which becomes like a super common thing at the very end. Or
where
later
Elaine's
in the show.
guy and the busboy?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So there's that as well. I don't know. Like, I thought it was a good episode as well, but it wasn't my favorite on this season for sure.
Yeah, I get some of the early scenes with the busboy, like that first one in his apartment, kind of whatever. Yeah. And then. But Elaine yelling at the guy to get
ready,
to get him out. I think you obviously said it off air when you were talking about like, how does this guy not get it that she wants him gone.
And you were saying this guy flew from Seattle to see Elaine, a single woman, and stay with her in New York
for a week,
and he didn't think anything like sexual was going to happen, and then nothing does happen for a week, and he's not ready to leave.
Yeah, like, why would he not be ready to leave? Oh, I'll just leave tomorrow or the next day. It's like, what are you staying for? Like, you're just hanging out, sleeping in this woman's bed?
Yeah. Also, I was thinking, like, when it happened, I was like, man, it would be a nightmare to try to catch a flight in New York. I can't even imagine.
Oh, yeah.
I cannot imagine that. Because the whole city is like New York, is like an airport. It's just crowded, and you're in a rush, and there's everyone in your way.
Yep. Yeah, I did it once, and it was a hassle.
How early did you leave? Like, super early compared to here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't even remember.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, yeah, it was definitely like, we planned like 2 or 3 hours, had to get like an Uber XL, had to go to LaGuardia. Yeah, and it was crowded, like, had to eat like the nastiest Subway sandwich I've ever had.
Subway? You love Subway. Right next to Jimmy John's, your favorite restaurant.
It was like an airport Subway and flu spirit. Yeah, it was all terrible. But what was it? We were talking about the busboy. Oh, yeah, so... apparently it's Elaine's breakout. You mentioned Jerry not having like a story of his own there, but I do love how he doesn't care about any of the problems that Elaine, George, and Kramer are having. Like, he's just like, you know.
Oh, that's terrible. He's literally eating fries and a shake, and they're like, I'm gonna go take care of this guy. He's like all beat up, and he has to stay with me another few weeks. And Jerry's like, all right, see you later. Have a good time.
And he's like, I have to go then George has to go feed Paquita or whatever the cat's name is.
Like, yeah, it'll go all over the carpet if I don't go back. And he's like, oh, it's terrible. And he's eating another fry. Could not care less. Nope. It is probably the best part of the episode, honestly.
Yeah. He's a busboy. It's the business.
And then he sees the busboy at the very end, and he's like, hey, how's it going? Great part.
Yes.
All right, so let's get to our awards.
Oh, yes.
Let's get to our awards. Best episode.
What do you got?
Heart Attack.
Really? Yeah, it's a candidate of mine. Hands down for you?
I'm gonna go. Yeah, I don't think. I like
the statue.
I like the statue a lot, and I like the revenge a lot. But obviously, I still think the Heart Attack is the best episode. I don't know. It's just I love the scene with the healer and how sarcastic Jerry is. And I have his inner monologue about,
Oh, crowbar! No,
come on!
Yeah, you kill a man.
That's great. I've had crowbar. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
And he's like, there's the tonsillitis connects to the tavoiditis and releases heat and wind, and he's like, some hot air blowing in here.
Yeah.
And I love how, George is upset with the check and everything. I don't know. It's just a great episode all around.
Yeah. And then, Chuckles. Isn't it Chuckles? Isn't that what they call it? You ate my chuckle, man.
Yeah, you ate my chuckle. I don't eat that gooey crap.
You want a piece of what he got?
He told me. I told him I left him back there. Hey, you want a piece of me now?
So, I'm torn between the statue, the phone message, and the heart attack. Just because I love how big a fool George makes of himself on the phone message. About the whole second date, just all of that mess. And then she thinks it's funny at the end. I think that all of that's why they do all this work for her to just be like, oh yeah, I had your messages forwarded to me. They're hilarious. Yeah.
And it's got a lemon tree in it.
Lemon tree, yeah.
It's an important line.
I still don't know it.
Bro, you're killing me.
What is it again?
We used to be playing like Grand Theft Auto or something, or watching like a rated R movie or something, and someone would be coming and it'd be like, oh, lemon tree.
And that's in this episode?
Yeah, that's in the... Because
that was Tippy Toe.
They say both.
Oh, okay.
Because they're both songs, I think. No, Lemon Tree's a song that they're singing for whatever reason.
And then the statue, single-handedly because of Raymond's craziness, Rava's craziness, and then Kramer like holding up Raymond for the statue.
Make love to that wall, pervert.
Just for them to drop the statue and break it. And thus disappoint George and his parents.
Pretty classic episode.
Yes. And then obviously the heart attack, like you said. So I guess just to be different, I will say the statue.
Nice.
Probably going to pick the heart attack. I mean, they're such a great episode. I honestly love, again, them downplaying, or not downplaying, upplaying it like George is going to die. And then George is like, go ahead and just kill me right now. And Jerry smothers him with a pillow. And Elaine walks in and he still doesn't care. He's like, Elaine, what are you doing here? Like, doesn't have a care in the world.
What if it was a doctor?
Yeah, I know. He's just suffocating his friend with a pillow. But yeah, great episodes. So you got Heart Attack, I got Statue. Now, what's the worst episode? Mine hasn't changed.
Okay. Well, mine's Busboy.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It's got some solid parts, but having to deal with the guy in his apartment and just that general awkwardness and tension, and I don't know, Jerry doesn't have a storyline either, which is great in some ways, but limiting in others. And also, the season is surprisingly strong. I actually like the rest of the episodes.
Right.
So, yours has not changed, so it's still the ex-girlfriend?
No, the jacket.
Oh, the jacket?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the jacket episode. I mean, but it's a good episode, and I could watch it anytime. It's,
but I'm not a fan of it.
It's not as good as the other ones. It's my least favorite of this season, despite it still being, I guess, a fine episode. It's just... I don't know. It's ridiculous. Some of the stuff is avoidable, but I do love how like Jerry's like talking about being a comedian, and he's like, "Oh, you're a funny man, huh?" Elaine's dad, and he's like, "Yeah, we had a funny man with us in Korea. They blew his brains out of the Pacific."
That's so funny. There's nothing funny about that.
Yeah.
It's just like, how do you recover from that?
It's like, oh, okay. But yeah, probably the jacket, and now
MVP of the season.
Are we going that one?
Yeah. George.
Yeah.
It's got to be George.
Yeah.
Jerry made some strong arguments in there.
Yeah, Jerry had a lot of sarcasm and carefreeness that was good.
And Elaine had a great, I guess...
couple moments.
The deal and...
The busboy.
The busboy with the whole... her trying to... She's probably the best part of that episode.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah.
But it's just not enough. And Kramer, again, is not on the show enough. So I'm going to give it to George.
Yeah.
He's got most of my favorite lines about no chance about living a good life or...
He's got the most problems, the most anger, the most pettiness, cheapness, and everyone else is just kind of like living in it right now. They're kind of just bouncing off of him, like, Kramer's kind of whatever about it, like leaving the door open at the busboy's apartment and then like still blaming George.
I know less about women than anyone in the world. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
This man's out here hustling.
And Jerry's like sarcasm and acting gets slightly better. I feel like now it's kind of weak, like his acting, but it's still, again, he's got the sarcasm. He's got the lines.
He nails it.
Yeah. All right, so MVP George again. So George is 2 for 2.
2 for 2.
Okay.
Favorite side character?
So I'm torn between Jerry's parents, who I guess only made an appearance early on in the season. I don't even remember when that was.
Must have been in... What episode? Oh, yeah, it's got to be in the Pony Remark.
Yeah, Pony Remark. Yep. So...
I had the pony.
So Jerry's parents, the lady that screams at Jerry at the baby shower.
Right.
Maybe even the FBI agents that shoot him in his dream. Or Rava.
Rava.
Who's
Nice.
yours?
I went with Harry the Healer.
Oh yeah, of course. I thought
You're
about
eating too
that.
much dairy. You see that? You see? Just like points his nose at him.
Really? Think of eating too much dairy? You go on hot showers? Stop. Cold showers. Not even lukewarm?
What about my face? No.
Yeah, I'll go...
Rava's good too, though, man.
Yeah.
We made love on the floor like animals. That's good stuff.
Yeah, I'll go with Rava.
Rava? Okay. Nice, solid pick. Least favorite side character?
Mine's the same.
Who is it?
First episode.
Oh, the
Jerry.
I don't know sometimes.
Yeah, Marlene. She's attractive, and it creates funny moments, but I don't like her.
All right.
But I'll keep thinking. I'm sure there's worse. Oh no, duh, the busboy. That's who you were gonna say, right?
No, I was gonna say the pregnant lady.
Oh yeah, her too. Okay, so yeah, I would say the busboy then. I'll switch mine to the busboy, just because he's not that funny.
Right.
The situation, I guess, adds some humor, but he himself, I don't enjoy.
I agree with that. It's just kind of awkward. It's seriously awkward, which is not the show.
Yeah.
Obscure reference.
Wait, but hang on. You went with one more. Oh, the pregnant lady, right?
Yeah, I
right,
went with the pregnant lady.
I don't
I
like
just
her.
she's like super rude, but
yeah, and she's like indescribable too. I guess it's like.
But she's rude to everyone, even Elaine, who's like bent over backwards for her. She's
right.
just kind of a bitch.
She's that kind of person. Yeah, I don't like that.
I guess favorite line.
It's gonna take me forever, but yeah.
It's gonna take you forever.
Here, just look at.
That's all your favorite lines? Jeez.
No, this paragraph is favorite line, and then I have favorite lines mixed into my episode notes.
Holy cow!
So.
Damn.
Yeah, but go ahead.
I've already said like some of the candidates. The best revenge is living well, and he's like, well, there's no chance of that.
I can't believe I missed that.
I won't be able to live with myself. Well, I will. I just won't be over this.
See, I missed that one too.
I
heard it, but I didn't write them down.
I know less about women than anyone in the world. And then I loved the Jerry, there's some hot air blowing in here. You're not a doctor, but you play one in real life.
Yep.
It's all good stuff. I think I'm going to go with hot air blowing in here when he's talking to himself.
Okay.
I just really love how sarcastic and eye-rolling he is about the whole healer thing.
Let's see.
And I also love that he asked the guy, he's like, you're very holistic, you're very in tune with nature. Can you read this note I wrote? He's like, oh, yes. Boston 117, Cleveland 109.
Okay, that's what I meant to say about the heart attack episode is like, what is on that note?
I don't know.
Like, well, they do find out at the end, but how is what he wrote...
Bologna, salami.
Like, how is everyone getting such different answers for what he wrote on this note? And then, the holistic healer is laughing, and he's
at a basketball score.
Yeah, and his is like, the most random thing ever. So just quick shout-outs. They're like, would you do that if I was a different person? Yes. No dessert, too much sugar makes my ankles swell up and I can't dance. That's from Jerry. I've been thinking, I can't envision any circumstance where I'll have sex again. I just don't see how it's going to happen. And that's George.
Oh.
And then George goes, is this me? Kramer goes, that's more you than you've ever been. I lie every second of the day. My life is a sham. George.
Nailed it.
Like you mentioned earlier, either on air or off air, I got tied up this weekend. Oh, I bet you did. And that's
nice.
George's sexist boss. And then the boss going, things just have a habit of falling right in my lap. And he like slams his crotch. And he's like, you wouldn't believe me if I told you. Jerry mocking Romeo and Juliet with Elaine and the doctor. And then just George screaming, we are living in a society. But I think I'm going to have to go with, it's torn between the sugar and the ankles thing with Jerry,
Stupid.
Because it's so dumb. Maybe that should be my obscure reference, but I think I've lied every second of the day. My whole life is a sham. Like
really?
I gotta
wow.
go. Oh yeah, I relate hard to that. I'm a good liar.
What about the I can't imagine a scenario in which I'll have sex again?
Second place, third place. It's
dude,
right
it's
there.
so good.
It's fantastic.
But yeah, dude, great lines. So you're gonna go with You're gonna go with not the sugar in the ankles. You're gonna go with the I lie every second.
Yeah, I'm
of the
gonna
day.
go with sugar in the ankles because I think it's the most random, and like nobody at that dinner table gets it. That's from the pony remark, and like nobody, everyone's just like dessert. Nah, no sugar for me. It makes my ankles swell up and I can't dance, and everyone's just like, they're just there. It just bounces off of them. So I do appreciate that.
What about obscure reference?
Yes, I have a few there. The busboy, whenever like he gets fired for the first time, Jerry's like, "Oh man, the busboy got fired. He's probably gonna go home and murder his whole family." And like, there's no laugh track really, and like, George and Elaine are just kind of like, whatever about it, and it's just so random. And then Jerry's like, "Well, he's a busboy. He'll find another job." So then it's like, okay. And then when the busboy's like screaming all that Spanish, and Kramer's like, "His cat's missing." It's just like so random. And George is like, okay. And then
Como se dice waterbed?
And then that's an obscure reference. But I'd say probably my favorite is whenever it's super. I think it's the first or second episode, just super random. Lane gets in the car, looks at Jerry, and goes, "Get a haircut? No, shower."
That's a good one too,
Yeah.
man.
So I'm going with that one.
I got a couple here that I like how George was talking about, like, why did I get pesto? Everyone likes pesto. It's blowing up or whatever.
Yep.
I super relate to that because I feel like it's always like, oh, pumpkin spice has got to be in anything, or it's guacamole is on everything.
Yep.
It's so, I mean, it's not necessarily pesto, but it's so relatable.
It's super relatable.
There's a new trend in food. Like, I feel like kale was up there for a while.
Yeah, bacon has made its passings, but I'm not gonna act like I don't like bacon. But there was a while there where it's like literally everything had bacon on it.
Yeah.
Like there was like a 5-year stretch where it was just like back when the Baconator first came out, like those years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the Impossible Burger, vegan meat.
Yep, vegan meat's blowing up right now. I was gonna say Chipotle and Subway and other places like blew up with the guacamole craze, like you were talking about. Can't think. At one point, I think they mentioned the show Tiny Tomatoes had blown up in the show. Like they make a big deal about where were Tiny Tomatoes 10 years ago? Sun-dried tomatoes. Sun-dried
tomatoes, yeah. There's another great reference to something, some obscure food that just blows up and like. It's so relatable now. It's crazy how relatable that is.
Yeah.
Because it's so trendy. It's like, I remember that sign of like, or the commercials of like, yeah, we got it. We just brought guacamole to Chipotle. I'm like, congratulations.
Yeah. Woo.
And you charge more for it. Fantastic. You charge like $1 for one scoop of it. Thanks.
Yes. That's a good one.
Other reference was no one wants to go see a bad movie without other people or whatever.
Yep.
And I find that super relevant because outside of either if I'm going with you or I know you're going to see it and we're going to dump on it on the podcast,
right.
I would not see almost any movie in theater.
Right. Any movie in theater.
I'm
it's
not
a surefire thing.
Almost.
Yeah.
Like I would have gone and
you're not going to take a chance on a movie. You're going to see something that's a surefire.
Right, yeah. And then I could still hate it, but I wouldn't go into it. Like, I know...
Angel Has Fallen.
Yeah, I knew going into that movie, like, here we go. Let's bring it on.
Yep. One of our most reviewed movies on the Decent channel. Make sure you loyal fans check it out.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Like, comment, subscribe, tap the bell for notifications.
Other generic stuff. Let's see. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably what I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the bad movie one. But both are great.
Yeah, no, those are all great. I feel like I definitely dropped the ball in the obscure reference category. Yeah, the pesto really got me. That's a good one too. Now, Superman reference is the next category I have. I didn't really have any.
The only thing they said is, Aquaman. What's his deal? Is he always walking on water? That's like the closest they ever got.
Okay.
Or not, is he always walking on water? Does he ever go on land? And they're like, yeah, I've seen him on land. He can go on land too. They're having like a serious conversation about it. And then he follows it up. So I slept with Elaine last night.
Of course.
Oh, that's good stuff.
I can see us having that kind of conversation.
Yeah. Dude, you see the new Batman trailer?
Yeah. Had sex with Elaine last night. Let's see. Now, Jerry's best observation.
What do you mean?
That's the next category.
Oh, shoot. I didn't...
You had it.
Oh, yeah. I thought I just said the movie one.
That was obscure reference.
Oh, my bad. His best observation.
But I mean, his best, like you also said, I'm not gonna go see a bad movie by myself. What am I gonna do? Make sarcastic comments to strangers?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that as well. I also kind of enjoy that he's like referencing something they bring up later in the show with the whole men hunt and women nest thing in his stand-up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I find that like very interesting. Why that's so important to him. It feels like, or so important to the show.
And it's somewhat accurate, like especially it doesn't happen much anymore just because of the times we live in. But like I know it used to happen whenever we would go to like a hotel, for example, like me and my family, and we'd be trying to find something on TV, and my mom would sit there and give like everything a try. And I'm like, this is garbage. Like, let's just...
You can tell immediately, like, garbage.
Like, we're looking for, like, TBS. We're looking for Friends or Seinfeld reruns. Like, we don't need to mess around and watch something new on this, like, 20-channel piece of crap TV. But, yeah. To me, one of his best observations... a lot of his observations, to me, came within the stand-ups. Mm-hmm. He wasn't, to me, making a ton of observations throughout the season. I feel like he makes more observations within the show as the show goes on.
Yeah.
I feel like right now a bulk of his observations are mostly through stand-up.
Right.
Now, I'm sure there's some I'm forgetting, but like, I just can't think of too many. But one of his stand-ups is, I love the fact that he's like, talking about how all doctors can't be the best. Like, every time somebody recommends you anything, they're like, oh, my guy's the best. He's the best. It's like, well, they can't all be the best. Somebody's graduating at the bottom of these classes. Like, so, oh, you should see my guy. He's the worst. Total butcher. Like... So
that's great, actually.
Yeah, so I think that's a great observation. And then my other one was, see a bad movie with, by myself. So I'm going to go with doctors.
Hell yeah.
Not all doctors can be the best.
Cool. Well, that's season 2 in the books. We got season 3 coming up. 22 episodes. We'll probably do 6 at a time, 7 at a time maybe. Split them into 3 parts.
Yeah, we could do that. 7 at a time.
Just because there's a lot of episodes. It'll take us a long time to get through 11 episodes.
Yeah.
If we do it in halves.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. And the other thing, too, is where did we rank season 1 on our decent scale?
Oh, good question. I think we gave it decent.
Okay.
Or I might have given it low-key Garbo for
the sake
for Seinfeld standards. I give it low-key Garbo.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Yeah, I agree with that. I'd give season 1 low-key Garbo, because if you tell somebody to watch Seinfeld and they start from the beginning, honestly, anybody that's watching Seinfeld, I probably wouldn't have them start from the beginning. I'd have them start at season 2 at the earliest.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I would go maybe even season 3 if I was... If I was showing my girlfriend it, or someone like, I was like, you need to like this show, or like, get away from me.
Right.
I would start with season 3 or 4, because that's when it starts getting the bangers.
Have you made her watch the show?
No, I'm waiting. I'm just like, I know how she is, She's, there's those kind of people that they're not going to be accepting of something, even if it's better, or they even like it. It's just got to happen, you know what I mean? Like, they just start watching it on TV or something.
Okay.
And then they're like, wow, this is actually good. And I'm like, okay, yeah, you're into it now. You know what I mean? Some people are very, I don't want to experience anything new, I don't want to give something new a chance. But then if they do on accident, then we're good. You know what I mean?
So how are you going to accidentally get her on?
Dude, it's reruns all the time. I'll just wait.
But y'all aren't watching cable.
She is.
Why?
No, you're watching cable?
Not because I want to. I watch it for sports and friends.
Hell yeah.
Nick at Night.
Nice. Dude, get those reruns going.
I haven't watched that in a while, though.
That's because it's all mom and 2 Broke Girls now.
Disgusting. Is it really? Did they lose? I know it's a lot of mom, but did they lose their contract with Friends? Or?
They might have, because I haven't seen it on there in the last few times I've worked, and that's always where I go to. I always go to like 300 or whatever Nick at Night is, and I'm like, come on, you got to be clutch.
They show it earlier now.
That might be what it is.
Because I think Mom and 2 Broke Girls are both a little more risque than Friends is.
That's true. They're very open about their gender fluidity.
Right.
Or whatever.
But yeah.
What would you give season 2 then?
It's going to be decent.
Decent,
because it's only going to get better.
I agree.
Yeah.
I feel like, honestly, from here on out, we could potentially go Fuego the rest of the way.
Right. It's either going to be Mad Decent or Fuego from here on out. Yeah. Which is fine. Because I already can tell you right now, I have a few problems with season 3. I'm not crazy about... Maybe it's just because I've seen it a bunch, or it's just because of the fact that it happens in season 3. I'm not crazy about the dog episode that you're looking at right there.
Oh, nice.
The parking garage is okay. And then after that, when did they do the? Is it not till season 4
What? What are you talking about?
that they do Kramer Goes to California and stuff?
Dude, I thought you were.
I
Oh,
was
it's at the very end of season 3.
Yeah, but it's not till season 4. Okay, so season 4 I have some problems with them because I'm not crazy about how long it took them for they're doing Seinfeld within Seinfeld. Like Jerry's getting discovered by NBC. They're gonna do a show,
Right.
and then them
It's the only time I feel like 2 episodes need to be watched back to back to make any sense. Like they're continuous.
Yes,
Like there's a plot going on that lasts more than 1 episode.
they have a few.
What?
The Watch.
Oh, the wall at the watch. I guess that's true.
Um,
But it's so serious in the Keys because it's like, no, we lost a friend. We
Yeah.
gotta go get him.
yeah. So
There's another example. It's like that was the episode that me and Nick were watching, and Nick's seen the show a lot, and Sean came in and watched it, and it was like, oh, this is kind of good. And then we got through. He went into his room or something, came back out, and we were past the Keys. We were into season 4, and we were on like a normal episode. I was like, oh, I get it now. It's a little bit better now.
mm,
And I was like, that's interesting. You probably watched that first episode and were like, man, this is like a kind of serious show. I didn't expect this.
right.
Because it's about like murder and stuff. It's like
Yeah.
weird.
I love those episodes. I think it's just the episodes where they're trying to get the pilot off the ground with NBC that I'm not crazy about.
The pitch.
The pitching
Yeah.
the show about nothing.
I got
It's
you.
we're already watching it. And and I don't know. The fact the show with inside the show element sometimes bothers me.
No, I got you. All right, anything else to say on season 2?
Not season 2. Decent. Ding 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 ding.
Decent on the decent show?
Decent on the decent show, a decent dicking, and we hope you guys like all of our content that we're creating. We're going to keep doing Seinfeld, some rapid fire reviews, hopefully some movies here soon. We haven't seen anything really since Tenet. Check out our Tenet review. It's mad decent. And for Reagan, I'm Ryan. Take it easy.